All right, so here's the worksheet. So you got to read these directions. So the Benedict's test, that will turn from blue to green to orange if it's test. And that tests for monosaccharides, simple sugars like glucose, fructose, etc. Benedict's test. All right, so remember it'll turn like the orange if it's positive if there's sugar in there. The Lugol test, iodine, it'll turn dark purple if there's carbohydrates or polysaccharides, basically carbohydrates like starch. The Biuret test tests for protein, and it'll turn purple. If it turns purple, it's positive for protein. And the last one is the Pseudon Red Test, and when it's positive, it's for lipids, for like fats. They'll be like spots. There'll be little spots in there. All right, so now basically, so I'm going to test food sample E. So I go to this thing. I grab E. I put it in this thing. The first thing I'm going to do is test for sugars. So I'm going to test it for using the Benedict's test. It'll turn red if there's sugar in there. It'll stay blue if there's no sugar. Okay, you put it in the heat. You got to heat it up. And after about 5 minutes, it's still blue. So it's negative for sugars. So I'm going to go on this little thing. Text. It's negative. There's no sugar in there. So I'm going to put a minus. Well, I'll put a minus sign, negative. All right, so now I do the next test. Now I'm going to test it for carbohydrates, like starch. It'll turn purple if there's carbohydrates. It'll stay like that kind of orangish color if there's no carbohydrates. All right, no carbohydrates. It's negative. So boom, I'm going to go on this one. And my little line is kind of small, so you might want to make it bigger. Negative for carbohydrates. Now I'm going to do the Biuret test. Now this one will turn purple if there's protein in there. This is a protein test. I put it in there, put the Biuret solution, and voila, it turned purple. So that's positive for protein. So this one I'm going to put positive, plus sign. And the last one is Pseudon Red Test, and that tests for fats or lipids. So you put a sample of the food, Pseudon Red goes in there, and if there's little bubbles like there are, boom, it's positive for lipids or fats. So this one is also positive. So monosaccharides, was there any monosaccharides? Well, since it's minus, that's no. There was no monosaccharides, no sugars. Lugel's test, was there any starches, carbohydrates? It was negative, so no, there was none. Was there proteins? It was positive. You can see right over there. So yes, there was protein in it. And was there lipids or fat in it? It was positive, so that is yes. And then basically you do the same thing for G. So you go back, you reset it, and you grab G. Boom. And do the same thing again. Test it for all the stuff. So this will turn orange or red if there's sugar in there. And let's see. Put it in. And looks like there's no sugar in that one, so it's negative. All right, so that's how it works. I think you should probably be able to do the rest. If not, we got until Sunday.